I built my career playing a game. Like, I know what you want me to look like. I know what you want my resume to say. I know how you want me to present when I get on this call. I know how you want me to present when I actually get this hiring letter. And I'm okay with doing that until I know that you guys aren't letting me go, until I feel indispensable. And that's okay. Like, I feel like we get caught up in like being our authentic selves because of the internet and stuff like that. But like, yes, be that. Yeah. However, it's a game. Like, this is transactional. So, like, provide the service that they're paying you to provide and be your authentic self when you walk out the door.
What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before I get into my guests, I want to make sure that you go hit that like button and subscribe. And then also stream the show as well on all major streaming platforms. Now, let's get into it. So today, I have somebody in here who is literally helping people find Black jobs. Miss Jaz Lee. How are you?
I'm happy. How are you? That was cute.
That's dope. Thank you for stopping by the podcast. Definitely appreciate it. And I would love to be able to start and get straight into Vetted Incorporated because there's a post of you that is going viral. And it says that you went from a Black woman in tech, went from $8 an hour to $300,000 working in tech and helping people find tech jobs. How does that happen? Please explain to me because I would love to know how to go from $8 to $300K in tech.
I love that. So I go by Jaz, so I'll just start there. Okay. But essentially, I started my career after a lot of lollygagging and kind of just being a nomad and a vagabond. I got a job in collections where I was making that $8 an hour. And whilst, and this is after being like homeless and after like really just trying to figure out where I wanted to be and go in life. Originally, I set out to be a physician. I was kind of groomed to be a physician because that was kind of how you made it out from where I was raised and born. But anyway, so got this job in collections, making $8 an hour. And while everyone was like taking smoke breaks and like, you know, taking phone breaks or whatever, walking around, just getting away from their computers, I was studying the manual. So the manual for this interface that we were using to do the collections or whatever was ultimately a module for a larger healthcare system. So I studied that manual and I studied the healthcare system. I put it on my resume and 6 months later, I got my first job in tech. So that system was, I think, Meditech. And I got my first technical PM role. And that one was only $18 an hour and it was a contract. Making $18 an hour, which is crazy. But I worked that for a year and a half. I got a job making $65,000, worked that for 3 months, got a job making $95,000 plus bonus. And it's just like, it's been up from there.
And then at what point in time, because you have the experience in terms of working in corporate and for different organizations, did you decide that I want to go this entrepreneurial route?
Great question. So, I told you I got that technical PM role and I was making $18 an hour. It was generally like, I think in today's term, it would be like a junior PM role. But making $18 an hour and then talking to my friends also in that same role, they were making, you know, more than me. And so I was like, And then as I got more senior in my role as a consultant, I would be able to see the bill rates. And I would know what I was making. And then, you know, having good rapport with my coworkers and peers and team members, I would see, or that we talk about our rates. You're not really supposed to do that, but whatever. People are always talking about money. And they would be making way more than me, and they would technically be working for me. And so that got me into wanting to be in recruiting to make sure that Black people in particular, but Black, brown, and queer people were getting the rates that they deserved or the rates that the market called for. Because a lot of this we don't know. And then I became a recruiting partner, and that's just like working side by side, my business and another business to help them with their recruiting. And it was so challenging for me to present Black, brown, and queer talent to them, like candidates for roles to be presented to the actual client. Like I would have to get infinitely more references. I would have to get way more like detailed and granular about their work history. And, you know, those challenges, they shouldn't be a thing when I was presenting other qualified candidates that weren't Black, brown, or queer presenting. And I wasn't getting that same like pushback, you know? Mm. So ultimately started my firm where I wanted to be in control of all of those things. I wanted to partner with companies that wanted to welcome Black, brown, and queer people, underserved populations in general. And then I wanted to work with those people to make sure that they weren't being taken advantage of in the workforce.
Love it. Love it. We definitely need more of that as we know, given the social climate, given the history of this country and also the job market and some of these corporations. So I have more business questions for you, but now we're going to go to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays. So you said you saw some episodes, so you should know what comes next. We're going to do some bars. I'm going to need you to sing. I'm going to need you to do some poetry, spoken word. What you got for us?
So I'm going to start with a rap.
Okay.
Okay, tell me when you're ready.
I'm going to let you know right now. I'm putting pressure on you because you're the first person to actually rap on Black Friday.
That's crazy. Okay. Because I was really just about to make up one from a movie. Like, my name is Jaz, and I'm the best. All the DJs want to fill that. We're not going to do that. Just ask me the question. Ask me the question.
So, all right. We're doing rapid fire. So, because we're talking about having a tech-based conversation, what is your favorite piece of technology?
Probably my iPhone, because I use it every day.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Give me one more, because I feel like the iPhone can be a cheat code.
Probably my AirPods, because I use them every day.
For sure. We're going to keep it in the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah, but also probably like Excel spreadsheets and Google Sheets. Like, I love spreadsheets. I think that they are the entry point to so many things in technology. And if you can like maneuver and like do very cool things in there, you can prove a lot of value for yourself in pretty much any role that you have. Yeah,
I had somebody, me and a guy I knew in high school, ended up, we didn't work at the same company at the same time, but essentially the essence of the company was selling Excel documents, like selling with a lot of important information in it. But like, I just seen some crazy thing on Excel.
It's a thing. And if you can do some pivot tables and some VLOOKUPs and really maneuver data.
Yeah, you're a guy. You're a data god at that point.
For sure.
What's your most random job that you had?
I worked at Taco Bell for 4 hours. That was my first job. It wasn't McDonald's. It was not Wendy's. It was Taco Bell. But it was just so gross. Like, I grew up eating Taco Bell, and like my dad had like finessed the situation with some lover of his to get me that job. Just walk me right in or whatever. And like it was just so nasty. I still eat Taco Bell. I don't know why though. But that's my road trip food of choice.
Got you. And what are you listening to right now? What you got on rotation?
Music-wise or podcast-wise? Or
let's do music and podcast.
All right. So music, I'm listening to a lot of jazz. I love like 1950s jazz. I love house and like techno and electronic music. I love this like new wave of like introducing house music into like familiar genres like R&B and stuff like that. I've been really feeling that. And then like Afro Nation Festival was this weekend. So I got a lot of Afro beats in my background right now.
For sure.
What about you?
I was heavy in the Afro beats when I lived on the West Coast, when I was in Seattle. And so I started to get more than that. But me, it's either hip hop, rap, or R&B. It's not really like a whole lot of in between. I got some alternative genres in there mixed in between, but for the most part, I'm one or the other. Either I'm straight up Detroit rap, or I'm listening to like early mid 2000s R&B.
Right on. I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I do listen to a lot of R&B, especially old R&B, and definitely like just Detroit music because that's where I'm from.
Exactly. What part are you from?
West Side all day. That's where I live now.
Okay. All right. Shout out to the West Side. What do you feel like is the gem in the city of Detroit?
A gem?
Yeah. Or one of your favorite things about the city?
One of my favorite things about the city are the people. Most importantly, like Detroit-based people, because you can recognize them pretty much everywhere in the country, wherever you go. And I think that's really cool. We also take a whole lot of pride in our city. Nobody can say anything about our city if they're not from here. And I love that so much.
Most definitely. And last but not least, what motivates you?
What motivates me is just like doing better than my parents imagined me doing. I'm very much still trying to make each of them proud. My dad's deceased, but like I live to, free them from the confines and the bounds of society today and like really just see our family thrive.
That's dope. Well, thank you for partaking in Freestyle Fridays, rapid fire questions. Yeah, I need to get some air horn. I got to figure that out. So I got to figure that out. I don't have the air horns yet, but thank you for participating. And if I can go back into the learning more about you, your background, and Vetted, I'll start with Vetted. So in terms of the services that you actually offer and the work that you do, what does that look like? So let's say I'm interested in working with Vetted. What do you all offer, and then how do your processes normally go?
Okay, so for Vetted, we initially started off as just tech talent, but being in this just vast ecosystem and being around these really hungry people, I really just felt like it was a need to kind of expand that. So we predominantly do tech and exec talent, so those roles, and we're headhunters for those roles. So companies partner with us to find very specific people to do very specific things. We don't necessarily like throw a wide net like recruiters tend to do and just like submit. We come with a short list to our clients. It's a very bespoke and curated and personalized service. And then we do professional development. So we educate leaders, learners, like boot camps and students. And then we educate employees as well on different ways to upskill or embrace diversity or embrace some sort of like technology that's evolving, kind of like AI or blockchain or something like that. And then we see how we walk people through how they can apply it to their business or how they can apply it to their lives to achieve more success. So that's what we do from a professional development perspective. And then we are launching an event staffing company or an event staffing arm where we do a higher end level or premier event staffing kind of jam, bartending, hosting, serving, amongst other things for specialized social occasions.
Got it. And in terms of the work that you do from a headhunting perspective, and you say you are partnering with companies to find people who have very specific skills and things that they're looking for a particular role.
Yes.
What does the market look like in from your standpoint when it comes to that? Because like you said, there's a difference between recruiters and then headhunters. So how does the market vary between the two?
So again, recruiters, they tend to throw a wide net, and right now everyone's looking for a job. Even if they're not looking for a job, the economy has gotten so, constrained that everyone needs a little bit more money. And so recruiters tend to kind of, I don't want to say prey on that, but that's their market. Mine, I tend to poach people that already have jobs and offer them sweeter deals. So I have a conversation with them, check out the pain points of their situation, and then present a solution to the problem, which is generally higher pay, unlimited PTO. I really have an opportunity to work with the companies or the hiring authorities to curate positions that speak well to high value or value add employees. So I can easily incentivize someone more easily incentivize someone to leave their current situation and try something new. So while I think my market is everyone that's working, I am a pinpoint kind of person. So what I do and how I serve is not for everybody.
And does that tie into the old saying that the best time to look for a job is when you already have one?
Yes, but you know what? It's interesting how like most of the people that are looking for a job that I've come in contact with, the way they look for a job is not how I would go about looking for a job if I was in today's market. Like,
please break it down. There's people out there that need help.
Yeah, absolutely. So one, on LinkedIn, like having your little badge say looking for work or seeking work, I forget what the term says.
Open for work.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that one, I feel like kind of takes you out of candidate pools like mine, because it shows a hunger that for some reason you're not employed. So you're probably going to go to the bottom of my list unless I got you off some large corporation's like layoff list or something like that. So there's that. And then like your LinkedIn picture, a lot of people still don't have LinkedIn. I don't understand why. If not for anything else, just to produce or to increase your marketability. So have a professional looking picture on your LinkedIn, and have a tagline that's searchable. So talk about either what you're doing or what you're trying to do in a very short way, but let it be very pointed for where you're trying to go, right? I think a lot of people they put stuff like marketing superstar.
No,
okay,
I need to change my thing because I definitely got marketing maven on mine.
Like that's, I don't know what you do in marketing.
Right.
I don't know what I could hire you for. So
make it searchable.
Yeah, make it searchable, and everything on your LinkedIn needs to be searchable and brief, because I don't have a lot of time to sit and read through a bunch of words. I want to know what the role was, what the skills were in the role, and who it was with really, and I can ask the questions in between. I'm not gonna scan your LinkedIn for that, but your resume needs to match that. And when I see your resume, I want to see actionable language. I want to see a very clean, not all these like graphics and stuff and boxes. I want to see a very clean, searchable resume that an ATS will not reject because it has all this like extra shit, all this extra formatting and stuff like that on there. It needs to be clean and boring looking, because it looks like you're trying to overcompensate if you're not going for a design role, but also the ATS often rejects it on a lot of different platforms.
And what's ATS?
Applicant tracking system.
Okay.
So it has something that like reviews the resumes to pull out the keywords that you're searching for or whatever. And if it can't like review because of formatting issue or whatever, you won't get looked at.
Okay.
So clean LinkedIn, professional LinkedIn, with connections. So you can prove kind of that you work somewhere, people know you professionally, or know that you had a job. And then your resume, clean resume, actionable language, stats. I want to see what you did and what the outcome was. I love seeing like if I can look at your resume and I see like this percentage or this dollar amount or whatever, like I'm automatically going to be incentivized to look more, because you look like you did something, whether or not it says that you did something or not. So little things like that. And then when you're like, keep track of the jobs that you're looking for in a spreadsheet, that when you come to a person like me and say, can you help me find a job? I know that you've actually been looking, and it kind of tells a story. Like people aren't giving you callbacks, or you aren't getting past the first interview. So we can know where to focus our efforts and our coaching on, which I do on the side. I don't really love doing it, but I have a heart to serve. So there's that. And then I think also people have a misconception that your social media, if it's private, people can't see it. And these larger organizations, like these enterprise organizations, like your Rockets, like your whatever, like Google's, whatever, like they can see that stuff. They are paying people to scrub the internet for years back to see that stuff. They can get past your private page. So make sure you don't have a bunch of things that you wouldn't want your boss to see on your page.
Right.
And just at a high level, I think those things at minimum can help so many people just like get past the point of getting their applications pulled. I was talking to my mom, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and both of them hundreds of applications, and they weren't getting pulled. One had a funky formatted resume. One had draft still on their resume for when a resume writer sent it back to them. And obviously little things like that. Any reason that I can use to get my pile of applicants smaller, I'm going to take it. So make sure that you're, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And one more thing, and I try to say this like as kind as I can, but I'm neurosexy and it never comes off that way. Names on your resume matter, because people have subconscious or unconscious bias when it comes to those things. So while they might necessarily might not necessarily be racist. A lot of employing entities or hiring authorities, if they're not Black, have a problem trusting Black people. And so if your resume says your name is Qualisha Jenkins, they're going to know you're a Black person and probably have, you know, some unconscious bias when getting past your resume. So what's your middle name? What, you know, put an alias, put Q.
Oh, I'm done for it.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
I'm done for it. Denzel, they already know.
No, but Denzel, I feel like it's probably a little bit more ambiguous than like Devontae. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's a game. Like I built my career playing chess. Like I don't have a degree. I don't have a bunch of credentials. I don't do a bunch of boot camps and stuff like that. I built my career playing a game. Like I know what you want me to look like. I know what you want my resume to say. I know how you want me to present when I get on this call. I know how you want me to present when I actually get this hiring letter. And I'm okay with doing that until I know that you guys aren't letting me go, until I feel indispensable. And that's okay. Like, I feel like we get caught up in like being our authentic selves because of the internet and stuff like that. But like, yes, be that. However, it's a game. Like, this is transactional. So like, provide the service that they're paying you to provide and be your authentic self when you walk out the door.
Yeah. So it's very interesting you bring that up, because that's something I've struggled with my entire career since I've left undergrad, in terms of working in corporate. And then that whole, like, you know, I didn't really start hearing that be your authentic self until I got into the tech world. And like, that's one of the things they kind of put out there. And I already know, like, I mean, me being a Black man in corporate America, there is no being my authentic self. Like, I like to wear Jordans. I like to wear fitted hats. I like to wear jeans. I like to wear do-rags to sleep. Like, it ain't no, there's no being my authentic self. So that's kind of, you know, I might be able to bring like a good 60, maybe 70, 75% of myself to work. Yeah.
Which I think is fine. Wear your Jordans to work, but also like know that your boss is, you know, gonna be there. So don't have like a niggas with an NWA team. I mean, feel me?
Yeah.
Clean it up a little bit. It's okay. Like, they're paying you to do a thing. It's not that big of a deal.
That's one thing that I think that we do kind of miss out on a lot, and obviously those lines kind of get blurred, because at the end of the day, it is like really a game of chess. Like you said, it's like social chess.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want me to do a thing, you want me to present a certain way, this is how you built your company. And then in terms of what you mentioned, the work that you do to be able to bring more representation to the table, the game is not built by us or for us.
For us.
Yeah,
or
so there's
for us.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about assimilation and changing who you are and things like that. But even the people who don't look like us, it's a game.
They're doing it too.
Yeah,
they're doing it too. Like, Bobby was tart last night, but he looks like he just went to church this morning.
Exactly.
You know, he got the Celsius on deck, and he's alive at 5. Like, he's in the game, and that's what it's about. Like, in business, I'm from the west side of Detroit, but I groomed myself to be this person. It's the person I want to be. It's not necessarily throwing away like where I come from. It's, you know, I know that I do business predominantly. I know that I do business predominantly with men that are totally opposite of me. So older white men. And I know if, like, they don't want me to show up in athleisure. You know, I look generally a lot younger. I have to give them a reason to trust me. And I feel like businesses in general, like, we want to exude a trusting presence. And I think professionalism can be a lot of things. Like, showing up as my authentic self is not trying to suppress my neurospicy and like having all these errors during a conversation. It's letting the things roll off my tongue, and us just kind of navigating what that looks like as they do. However, knowing my environment, like, I wouldn't have made those same bloopers if you didn't look like you do.
Right. Yeah. You know,
so it's that 60%. It's a dance, but I think we all can play it. We dance really, really well. And I think that we all can succeed in that. And I'm really excited to, like, I don't know, maybe produce some content that really walks people through, like, how to get past getting your resume or getting your application pulled, and how to get past that interview. Because there's so many people looking for jobs, and there's so many people giving interesting advice on the internet, and there's, no one way to do the things, right?
Yeah.
But there's some ways that I know from a hiring perspective that work.
So I'm curious now, because you stepped into the realm of entrepreneurship and you get a chance to, so we talked about being your authentic self. However, you, like you said, you work with corporations and people that don't look like you. So of course there's like there's a certain way that you're going to show up for that. But do you feel a sense of freedom in terms of entrepreneurship and being able to maybe bring 80% or 90% of yourself to the table versus the 60 or 70?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I don't want to say that I do business exclusively with that archetype, because my community, the BTS community, has supported me immensely, and I do business now with like Hispanic people. I do business now with Black people, brown people, whatever. But I will say that like it's been interesting seeing how I like play with giving a little bit more of who Jaz is. And like, even in this setting, right? Like, I don't want to come off as a robot, even though I can be robotic, because that was a lot of what that chess game looked like for me. Yeah, I have this kind of like sexy kind of sassiness to me, and seeing how people respond to that in business, not necessarily forcing it on them, but just kind of letting it roll and kind of testing the waters. I think that that's been really liberating for me. Yeah, I was not made to work for somebody. Yeah, I was not. God did not make me to do that. I was not purposed to serve humans in that way. But.
And I'm sure you had success in your previous roles that you had, and you said you weren't made to work for anybody. When did that become like when did that switch go off in your mind? Like, it's just that's not how I'm built.
That's always been a thing. That's all. Like, I made our first business. I think me and my cousin, we were selling rocks to crackheads, like painted rocks with nail polish to crackheads. Right. That's funny. How ironic is that? How ironic is that?
You said selling rocks to crackheads.
But no, like,
you gotta be very specific.
That's so funny. But no, that was a thing, and we were probably like 7 or 8 years old, on the block or whatever, on the block. But literally, but I've always started little businesses. I just never imagined that they would grow to the scale that that Vetted Inc. is going to grow to, and that TRS is going to grow to. Like, I was thinking more like, 10 million sounds great to me for a lifetime, but now it's like 50 million, 100 million. Sell this and flip that. And thinking like that, man, I never imagined that would be me. Like, I never imagined that would be like a trajectory for my family. I never imagined that I would be surrounded by people that's the trajectory for them and their families, and they look like me and can relate with me and to me, and they come from where I come from. Like, a lot of my friends in the ecosystem, they live like down the street from me, like on the west side. Like, man, what a time to be alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you mentioned TRS, so tell us about TRS, because that's a newer venture for you.
Yep. So co-founder of TRS. TRS is Total Reentry Solutions, and we are an integrated platform that serves reentering citizens and essentially centralizes all of their resources and creates a support team within this application that monitors their emotional state daily and their progress daily in their acclimation, and then sets them up to thrive more quickly. And then where I come in more specifically is to ensure that they're trained and ready and placed into high growth positions. I think traditionally we see reentering citizens getting put into jobs like janitorial and things like that. But no, like, these are humans too. A lot of them are like entrepreneurial at heart, and have just a lot of capacity, but they may not have yet learned to read. They may not have, yet learned how to, navigate things digitally in a way that can set them up for success. So we walk them through a bunch of things collectively with their support team, and then we make sure that they're placed in a job that they can take care of themselves and their families, which will prevent them from going back, which will prevent them from going to the hospital all the time for these chronic illnesses that come from stress and come from the things that weren't treated in the prison system, which will prevent them from, you know, unaliving themselves or others or whatever, because their situation is so hopeless. So we're aspiring hope over there, and I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome, and definitely a forgotten about and often left behind community in terms of people re-entering from the jail,
Justice
prison systems.
Yeah. For me, like, so we serve justice impacted people, which not only include the re-entering citizen, but also includes the families of those humans as well. And while we're focused on re-entering citizens, that's going to expand to immigrants and other marginalized populations. But that said, I find that, like, I don't understand why we forget about them, because most of the people I know somebody that has gone to jail or prison and know how have an idea of the fact that their families were impacted in some kind of way. I was actually conceived because my dad was going to prison. And so my mom and dad wanted to, you know, kind of produce some collateral before he went in there, so that when they came out, you know, things would still be intact. And so my dad having an 8th grade education and having gone to prison, and my mom not having, you know, a college degree or whatever at the time, like, that created just exponential kind of issues down the line before my mom, you know, locked in and got her, you know, advanced education and really held it down for our family and kind of got us out of the situation that we were in. But thinking about that specific scenario and thinking about the scenario of my business partner whose husband is a re-entering citizen and who's actively working through the process, like, all of us know somebody. How are we forgetting about these people? They need help too. And they need help that's going to, like, not only help them, but help their families, and not only help them and help their families, but as a result, help the community be more safe, be more positive, be more happy, be more pleasant. Detroit is definitely a city that is familiar with that population. So I'm excited to see how the city, how the state, how the government really just supports our initiative.
For sure, because it's one of those things where it's like, you do something bad, you have to pay the time and go away or whatever the case may be. But then the goal is to learn the lesson, right? But then when they come back out, do you really have an opportunity to learn the lesson? Because you may be in a much worse state than you were before you actually went in there. And then, of course, what are you going to do? You're going to go to what you know. So the lesson never really gets learned in terms of the system actually doing the job that it's supposed to do, which is why I keep doing these quotations. So that's why things like this is extremely important.
I'm so excited to see these young boys that went into, or these young men that went into prison for things that are now legalized or whatever, see them, like, have just grand and beautiful and vibrant careers in things that we're going to train them on, like, you know, videography, some cinematography, and, like, pardon me, really, like, building their own personal brand or building a business out of social media like people do today and make millions of dollars doing it. Or, like, advanced manufacturing and batteries. Like, we're working with partners to train them on these things that Michigan has already committed $100+ million of investment to pour into the training and the development and all of that for that population. I want to see them, you know, in high paid careers in technology. You know, they can do help desk support. They can be a PM. They can, you know, delegate tasks or build a product and offer unique insights from a very specific lived experience to technology that serves those humans, that serves the healthcare system. I'm really excited to just see them kind of just, like, thrive. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And in terms of how did you meet I'm curious how you met your business partner in this venture, because my next question is asking about the Black Tech Saturdays community that you've been a part of. Did you meet them there or just completely separate?
Kind of. So when I came back to Michigan, I had started real estate development in Atlanta, and I came back to Michigan and started doing that here. And I had never really been around any people that look like me in technology throughout my career, which is over a decade long. Saw this meetup, Black Tech Saturdays. That was when it was like, 10, 12 of us in a room or what have you. And started going to that. Through Black Tech Saturdays, I've been opened up to a world of technology in Michigan and in Detroit. And so I think I saw Katie K, who is my business partner in TRS. I saw her at Michigan Tech Week. She won that for TRS. And that was a huge win. And then I saw her at Black Tech Weekend, which they had here that same week. And I was just like, she be working. I like that. And so there was a grant or some money that Michigan was bringing down. And she went to a bunch of founders in New Lab, because a lot of us work out of that space, and was like, we should collaborate on this, because if they don't give one of us the money, how they're going to say no to all of us, basically.
Right.
And so ultimately, I ended up collaborating with her on one application for a grant. And then we saw another opportunity to do that. And they were just like, because her platform would ultimately thrive if she had a dedicated workforce development arm. We just felt like it would be a good marriage. And so now we're building this really beautiful technology that leverages advanced technology, but also has a very human-centric kind of vibe to it. And that's basically what I give to all of my businesses. So I'm really excited.
That's fire. Speaking of BTS and the community, what has it been like for you to be able to have that community? Because like you said, you're starting to add people to your network that you didn't even know stayed down the street, speak the same language as you, in terms of being a Detroiter, being Black. And that's something that hasn't been prevalent in the city or nationwide.
That we knew about.
And so now it's here. Yep. But so for you, how has that kind of impacted the way that you do business, the way that you approach relationships and projects and things like that?
So positively. So I know you through that. And most of the people that I interact with on a regular basis at this point, I kind of know through BTS, because we're constantly sharing in resources, like here's a grant for this, or go to this event, they might be, doing X, Y, and Z, or try this accelerator, or whatever. We're a very tight-knit but resourceful community. And so from that, I've gotten deal flow, which a lot of the accelerators and incubators and all these things that, may give you a check, they don't give you. Deal flow from that community. I've gotten, I've made friends. I've been able to have exposure and sit in rooms that I would have never, or that I could imagine anyway, sit in and really have a voice in those rooms. Like in a 2-week span, I was, 10 feet from the vice president, 20 feet from the president. It's been phenomenal to see the growth. It's been phenomenal to reap the benefit. And I'm just so grateful to them, and I will infinitely kind of serve them in any way and every way that I can because of that.
Dope. Yeah. So I think you talked about it a little bit earlier, but what do you see in your crystal ball? What's next? What's on the horizon for you, Vetted, and then also TRS?
So with Vetted, I told you that we are expanding, so I'm really excited about that. And so we'll be doing a bunch of, campaigns to get an influx of candidates and clients with the sales, marketing, and creative verticals of our business. And then that event staffing, that specialized social event kind of staffing jam. Really excited to launch that. That's going to be very sexy and very cool. And I don't do a lot of sexy work, so I'm really excited about that. And then, seeing that become a thing and grow. And then we're working on a proposal with the state to build a workforce development center on the west side of Detroit. And I'm really excited about that because, we're going to be I know there's a lot of programs that train these people or that place these people, but like my standard is so high for all the things. So like we're vetting the resource providers that do this training and making sure that when they get trained in this thing, they're not going to come out with an idea of how to do it. They're going to be experts in that thing and can like kill it at that job that I'm going to place them in. And I'm really excited to show people that like the city of Detroit can like rock it out. And then from a TRS perspective, we just got into Techstars. I don't know if this is landing, so
okay.
I'm really excited about that.
Congrats.
Thank you. Just like doing all the things for that and like poising our company for investors and to get to the next level. Our MVP is good, but we want to make it great. And then we're starting this, not necessarily a support group, but kind of like a pilot for the users of our application to really get invested in it, and also like have a lot more hand holding through the process of the platform. So we're really excited about like really bringing in founders that have stories of being just as impacted with family members and things like that to talk to them, but also like really be pouring into them from a soft skill and hard skill perspective.
Nice. Now, you just shared a lot of valuable information about for sure, about the business, about your background. For the people who want to tap in with you, they want to work with you, they want to get involved in things that you have going on, what's all your handles, best ways to get in contact with you, what websites, all that good stuff?
Yes. So my favorite way to connect with people professionally is on LinkedIn, because that'll show me that you have one. But also that's just like, I'll know that you're coming at me from a professional perspective, and I get a lot of noise. So that's my preferred landing place. And that's JVZMYN_LEE. So my name, but with a V. And then for Instagram, if that's easier for job seekers, it's JAZMYN_Lee. And that's really it. If you're willing or interested in partnering with me, then you're welcome to reach me at partner@withvetted.com. And yeah, those are the things for now. I'm really excited to see what the next 365 holds. We're working with some really cool companies now. And not just startups, so that's really exciting, but also finding creative solutions for startups to be able to pay for my service, so they can get the talent they need to build, grow, and scale. So I'm really excited about that. Really excited about everyone that I'm working with, really excited about the social media push that we're about to do, and really excited to just like help the people of my city just like thrive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Jaz, this has been an amazing conversation. Grateful for the work that you're doing and being a champion of diversity in corporate and especially in tech. Sure. And then also a champion of the city as well, putting on for the West Side, most importantly. And thank you for stopping by the podcast today. Absolutely. Appreciate your time. Everybody watching, listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Make sure y'all check out the rest of the videos and interviews. Peace.